Jack is on his way. Any public comments? Don't see any.
We don't know.
No old business, new business. We're going to jump to the second item because that's really the discussion that impacts the budget book. Okay, so what I'd like to do, I've got a few kind of initial comments to talk big picture, and then we're going to talk about some adjustments that you guys have brought up, some good discussion we've had, and so I'm going to kind of big picture comments, and then what it looks like if we don't make adjustments and what it looks like if we do. Does that make sense? And then we can go from there. Thank you, as always, for your time tonight. We spent a lot of time on this, getting it right, and I really, again, appreciate the willingness to have these conversations and work through these things in detail so that we, in my experience, we always end up in a better place right after we hammer some of this stuff out. Couple reminders. Our capital improvement plan for water, wastewater, $8 million. It's a critical investment in us preparing in the rate study and in the capital improvement study for 30,000 residents, right? We're making decisions today to prepare us for the future. That's what we've talked about a lot of times in here, right? We want to make sure we hand this off in good shape. And because of that, in serious investment, $60 million, that infrastructure fee is vital for this investment in this plan. And I wanted to quote from the Courier, Mariah's quote, which the reason I'm doing this is I can't say it better than this when it comes to the infrastructure fee. The infrastructure fee provides consistent and guaranteed revenue that is only used for debt service and critical capital improvements. State guidance, bond issuers, and data analysts are very clear that a stable fixed revenue is essential for maintaining our financial health, protecting our credit rating, and ensuring fund repairs and growth without sudden large rate spikes. So, simply put, this level of investment, the infrastructure fee is critical. Now, in the midst of the infrastructure, this investment, major investment, $60 million, we've also been able to, as far as we can tell, we're the only city in the state that's been able to lower the majority of our users' minimum bills for the first year. So I say that to say this is the work we've done is to make sure we're taking care of this investment, right? Making sure we can get this done, but also being very mindful of our residents and doing what we can to make sure we do this the right way. I think lowering by $5 from 15 to 10 and the way this is laid out over the next 5 years is the best path forward. But as we've talked about those things, you guys have brought up some really good changes that I think make it an even better plan, okay? And so I want to, before we get into those changes, I want you to know kind of what that means on the path forward. If we make these adjustments we're about to look at in the ordinance, we will need to do the first, we'll go back and do a first reading this month, okay? So basically, if we change these things, then what we've done in the past doesn't count. We'll start with the first reading in November, and then in December, we'll do the public hearings, second and third reading with an emergency clause. So that'll all be laid out in what it was before you tonight. If we don't change anything, then we could do the second and third reading on the 18th, okay? It's still my recommendation that we get these done this year to implement on January usage. Our goal from the beginning has been to put in place these rate changes in a way that residents know what to expect. And that's the thinking behind the January changes. That every year, we can do everything on our end to make sure the residents know what's coming, so no one's, as much as we can, that no one's surprised, okay? And so again, that's why I would like us to continue to pursue getting this put in place by the end of this year. And so with those changes, that's what it means. 3 of the changes, Mariah is going to come up and walk you through those, show you what you have in front of you, show you the detail in what would change in the ordinances. You have before you the red line addition that'll give you some of those. There's 3 different major changes. The 2031 removal of the auto 5%. Some change to do the year of doing the rate study, do that a year before, do that in the 4th year. And then we also reduce the employee count in the projections that changes some of the rates too. So Mariah, take it from there.
Yes, I'm going to start with the sewer one.
Just quick,
Yes.
the 2 stacks, are these one is the edited version? And
Yeah,
okay,
the red line version is the
Okay.
one that's, just so you guys can see
apologize,
what's
yeah.
there before.
Looks like we got 2 copies.
I got 3 stacks.
Should have 4.
Maybe I got 4.
Oh, you know what, I bet they were printed with agenda too. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, the one stack was behind the agenda.
Yeah, okay, sorry. That was messed up on me.
Okay, so there's just
They're
extra
printed
copies.
double, yeah. We've got plenty of
There you
copies.
go.
I just wanted to be clear.
There's only 2 ordinances.
I'm usually behind anyway, so I just want to make sure it's all right.
We'll start with the sewer one. Like the mayor was saying, as you can see, I like the red line version. The main changes that we made based on your guys' input and the public comment input was removing the 5% increase each year, like the automatic increase each year. And then we moved that entirely, and then making section 2 on or before June 30th of 2029 and on or before June 30th of each 4th year thereafter instead of every 5th year, to make sure that we're getting a rate study done every 4 years. And we also did that with the infrastructure fee. That 5% annual increase is not in there, so that we'll be sure to include looking at that infrastructure fee every time we do a rate study, instead of just having a 5% automatic and hopefully being able to adjust it as we go. It was declared an emergency. The emergency clause is in there. Ryan Bowman had suggested we put the emergency clause in there to make sure that we're able to do it by January if you guys choose. And then the biggest one, based on your guys' comment, we had Dan Jackson take out the calculation for adding a full-time employee to wastewater and adding a full-time employee to water each year for the next 5 years. So it was a total of 10 employees that was taken out of the calculations. And basically what that does is reduces the water increase to 8% instead of 9%, and the sewer increase from 6% to 4%. So those new rates are in front of you. That's what's in the ordinance that's redlined.
The employees that were removed, did Willdan give any kind of job description for those employees as to what they'd be doing? Like what would we be trading off by removing
So
them?
they're basically water and utility workers
Okay,
for each department, water and wastewater.
okay.
Yeah,
We
there was,
also have a division and pumps and controls. We have a pumps and controls. Currently, we have 1 pumps and controls guy active. We have a position for 2 additional that we've already budgeted for that we can put those in the coming year that we really need. We're actually pretty short on that, but those are already in the current budget.
Okay.
But it was adding additional utility workers for each one of those for the next 5 years.
Okay.
it was utility 1 and utility 2.
And Dane Jackson doesn't describe what they do. The city gives him the information and he just
Right.
comes up with a rate.
Yeah.
We describe what their rates would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question.
So let me ask a question. On this
Sure.
infrastructure fee, I'm
Yep.
looking at so the infrastructure fee is going to stay at $10 throughout the next 5 years? Is that what you're saying?
No, ma'am, it's going to increase for those 5 years, but it won't, like on the 6th year, it won't automatically increase. We'll have to do a rate study to reevaluate it.
But I think, how much are you looking at the increase each year for that $10?
50 cents the first year.
$50, $3, $58. I
Yeah, it
mean-
goes from $10 to $12.16 in 5 years.
So how much would we lose by leaving it at $10 just to look better in the public's perception?
Can I make an whenever we fix something like that, and we can't ever change it, then that leaves us in behind in inflationary systems. Like we made, for instance, like our stormwater utility fee, we left it at $3 forever, and it doesn't cover hardly any projects. So I don't think it's a good policy to not at least increase some percent increase as a result of the inflation.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of feedback about having it automatically roll that 5% every year, which is why we didn't want to roll it every year automatically after that, the 5%, so that when we do the rate study, we can readjust. And then hopefully we'll be able to either stay the same, or maybe we'll even be able to go back to the $10 then. But with inflation and everything and all the projects, I don't see that infrastructure fee being able to come much lower without raising the rates.
And ultimately, there's a finite dollar amount that we're going to be required to spend, and it's just a matter of how do we get there. So, I think that kind of keeping that in perspective may help.
Right. It's just so I have a question based on the information you sent yesterday. Let me pull it up and look. Actually, I might need two things. So I was looking at the draft, the Wildan draft proposal.
Okay, yep. Of the full study?
Yeah. So if you look at the CIP page, so that would be page 7. So look at the water projects, and I'm looking at something that you emailed us sometime back. It was what was handed out originally on September the 2nd.
Okay.
And so the list of water projects, the first two, first three. Then you get down to the improvement, number 4 was taken off, it's already being done. Number 5 is not on here. $180,000 is coming from savings, airport to Hill Road. And so that's not listed on the CIP, but and it's out of savings, which makes sense why it wouldn't be on the CIP if you're paying for it with savings. Then you've got 7 and 8 listed. One's 40,000, one's 80,000. They're listed as coming out of savings. Why are we putting it on the capital?
Is that that's the one I marked up? I know which one you're talking about. 1 second.
It was handed out the first part of this process.
Yeah.
And then down, then when you get to the wastewater, see if I can, no, can't flip that way.
I'm gonna go ahead and jump ahead and say on one for the airport road, that there's some options there, that whether we do it with savings, it's to establish a loop between our systems. There's a very good possibility that could be developer, because it's along the parkway, and we could do that as part of the developer funded
Right.
project.
If we're gonna pay for something out of savings, why do we want to borrow money for something we're paying for out of savings? It looks like on the wastewater treatment plant, you left off the alkalinity.
Yeah, we decided not to do that
I think I
one. We did the
remember the
pilot test
discussion.
and it didn't have the results that we were hoping for, that would make the investment worth it, so we decided to take that one off. And then on water, I see what you're talking about here. The 180,000 Airport to Hill Road you're talking about is in,
You left it off. It's off, it's not on Dan Jackson's. It's not on Will Dan.
yes, and we did that because we were hoping to do it this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this other one, North Reynolds Road, Rogers Road Crossing is labeled 2025, 40,000 under. I mean, that's a small number too.
Yes, and that's the one we're deciding to put off for South Plain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're holding off on that one for it to be a part of the South Plain project and see how that goes, and then doing it there. So that year does change, but it will still be near term.
Good question.
$605, does it require, it's required every 5 years, is it at least every 5 years, or is it gonna have to be every 5 years?
It's every 5 years.
Like, period?
Yes.
Okay, so like even if we're doing a fourth, then that second time around, it's gonna fall out of
Yeah,
serious
we'll
with?
have to time it the right way. Even if we start at the 4th year, you have to have it adopted within 18 months of it being completed and passed back to you.
Okay,
So if we adopt rates in July, or if you adopt them in January of 2026, you have to adopt new ones. They have to be implemented by January 1st of 2020, or 2031. So
okay,
it's just that 5-year gap. But they'll be flexible with you on it as long as you're doing it right. And we'll be able to time it every 5 years or every 4 years to make sure that we've got enough time in between to get it adopted.
Okay.
It just gives us extra time to communicate and make sure that we're looking at everything.
works. I just didn't want to run into
A math problem.
well, yeah, this time
Yeah.
we're 4 and 5, the next
Yeah.
time we're 8 and 10.
Yeah.
And then,
Right.
you see what I'm saying, we're moving those further up.
I think the way the math works is that you will at least have a year to 18 months before you implement that you'll already have the rate set in place.
Okay,
Now technically, you're still following somewhat of a 5-year cycle, but you'll have that year to 18 months ahead of time that you'll have to be able to do all of what we're doing here.
gotcha.
Do we have to change our ordinance that says every 3 years, or does 605
That's,
supersede
well,
ours?
that's what's in this, is it's in here to change it to the 4.
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's in there to change it to 4 in our current ordinance to be deployed. Any other questions on the wastewater one?
Like I said, I haven't looked all through. I'm gonna keep looking through the Will Dan study and reading it. It's good info.
Yeah.
Other pink binder.
And then on the water one, same kind of thing. You can see the declaring an emergency was added, the rates were changed to reflect taking out those full-time employees. The rates shall be increased by 5% each year was taken out, and then the 5th year was changed to 4th year, and that's all that's changed. There is no infrastructure fee included in the water ordinance, as it is a mainly sewer fee.
So the CAW rates are going up 5.9%. But our water, I gotta need to look back at Will Dan's. But we're raising, well, this'll go, we're raising to an 8% on water.
Yes, but CAW's bills overall are increasing 8.8%. Their infrastructure
Oh,
fees
the
increasing
infrastructure fee is the big
22.9%.
piece. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so our overall, we're able to keep it 0.8% less with the full-time employee coming on.
Did I hear right that rates would be up 10% by 2030? Right,
That was what he put in his study for, like, the average. I mean, that's not, we don't know what they'll be in. Well, I guess we do know what they'll be in 2030. They go up 9% or 8% each year if this ordinance is adopted,
Yeah.
so by 2030, can't do math. 40%. 8% a year.
It's only money.
But that's from the beginning, that's from the beginning point.
And you know, that, we're seeing the effects of Act 605 across the state
Yeah.
now that it's by law.
Most people are having to do 40% increases in 1 year.
Yeah.
and 100% increases within 2.
Okay, if you feel good with this, this is what we're going to bring to you on the 18th. If there's any concerns, anything you want to discuss between now and then, please just let us know. Obviously, as much time, as much detail as you need. I want to make sure that we can move forward on the first reading this month, and then the public hearings, second, third reading in December. And that's December, what's the December council meeting? We move it up.
I think it's 16.
16th, okay, so we're November 18th, December 16th. As much as we can, I want to make sure we're all moving in that direction. Does that make sense? What the plan is? All right, so if there's no objections, this is what you'll have in front of you in 2 weeks. And then obviously, open door, whatever you need, whatever info you need, whoever you need to meet with, between now and then, we're available. We're at your service to make sure you're informed and feel like you can do your job well. All right, so with this passing, that obviously affects the 2026 budget for Public Works.
Chris, I'm sorry, I thought one more question.
Yes, sir. No.
605 has to be enacted by when? What's the
July
date?
1st.
July the
Rates have
1st.
to be enacted by July 1st, 2026. And
Okay.
you do have to go through the approval of Natural Resources Division for them.
Okay, and how long does that process take?
That I don't know. I
Okay.
can reach out and ask, but I would say a month.
Okay.
Yeah. It needs
Okay.
to be safe for a month, but I mean, you can put the ordinance.
Yeah.
So do the rates start to be collected before Natural Resources approves or after?
Good question. I can find out.
It's all uncharted water.
Yeah.
Well, and, that could affect changing the rates in January.
Well,
Right?
they would show up on the February bill, right? Because
The February would be for January.
for January
Usage.
usage. But, yeah, we would have to get it all in our system to calculate those things.
Am I hearing that you're concerned that Natural Resources may in fact do something that may affect the rates?
That's right.
I think that's a yes or no thing. I think
Gotcha.
it's, did you comply with Act 605?
Okay.
Did
It's-
you-
they're not gonna give
did you
feedback
do
to
what your
change
rate-
or-
your third party say? If we say yes on all those parts, I don't think they're going to
Okay.
have any.
Yeah.
Yeah, the main
Gotcha.
things they're looking for is if it's over a 50% increase, you can implement it in over a 2-year time period. But since ours isn't really applicable
Gotcha.
to that, but we're doing a 5-year, they're not gonna have. any
They're looking for more of the
Yeah, and Dan Jackson
exceptions.
did put an Act 605 checklist in the back of that full rate study, going
Right.
through all the requirements and checking off if it was done and what needed. We definitely meet all the requirements. And
Then with your permission on the budget book, since we're late in the budgeting process, we would make a budget adjustment in January to reflect these changes. But if that's okay, we keep the budget book as it is, and then pass the balanced budget, and then make the adjustments in January meeting. I think that would help Joy.
Does that just prolong the pain for Joy, or does it actually help Joy?
No, to change this would upset the apple cart that's already kind of rolling along.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
It would turn everything,
Yeah.
dump our apples out, and you have to gather them all again. so to
Yeah,
speak.
whole new dollar amounts and everything else would have to be budgeted out.
she could have a heart attack. Yeah.
gives us time to work on it, get it right, so when we
Okay.
bring the budget adjustment, it matches the new rates, because, yeah, we've been working with the other numbers. Okay, well, hope that's clear. Again, any questions, let us know. If there's anything else anybody has? All right, with that, I would like to, with wastewater advisory coming up, meeting next, we're going to fill them in and get their input and let them know what's going on. So that would be our the next meeting at 6. If you want to stick around.
We'll ask them to recommend this to you guys, since they recommended the last one already, but we'll ask them.
So didn't we do that the other night?
Huh?
Didn't we do that the other night?
They did recommend the one that was taken, they haven't seen it, they haven't seen the email, but we'll discuss that water and sewer.
We don't need to make new copies, plenty up here.
Oh, but yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, I can leave mine too.
Okay, thanks, everybody. We're adjourned.